Hello, viewers. Welcome to yet another episode of the To Be Quite Honest podcast, which is your go-to podcast for deep conversations about the world of real estate and more. So, as usual, my name is Big Ben, and with me is
Noma, your host.
the beautiful. You did add that today.
Yeah, the ever beautiful. But anyways, today we are going to be taking some questions from our audience. But before we begin, we have a returning guest. I mean, she needs no introduction, but let's just let her do some, drop some gems for us.
Thank you. Hi, Ben. Hi. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you. As Noma said, I was once on the podcast, the first season, and my name is Edem. I work with Mixter. I work with the Common Secretarial and Compliance team. A bunch of things. Part of that is speaking with interesting people. So that's why I'm here today. So thank you.
I mean, thank you for coming back and gracing us with your presence one more time. Okay, so we would dive right in. Ben, would you take the first question?
So today we're going to just be reading out questions from our viewers. To all of you who have sent in questions, we're very grateful. Please send as many questions that you'd like us to answer on this podcast. We're here for you.
We are.
Now, the very first question, this is an interesting one, so please keep your ears open so you don't miss out any details. Now, the question reads, hello, to be quite honest, gang, which is both of us, by the way. Please, I need your advice. Now, over the past 4 years, I have been supporting the family, that's his or our family, with house rent, and to my knowledge, everything has been going well. Now, last month, police came to the house with a court order telling everyone to evacuate over unpaid rent. That's where the drama starts. Now, I thought I was being punked because I never defaulted on rent payments. I called the lawyer to complain and he said he would get back to me. After a while, his number wasn't going through. I then called the landlord. Now, the landlord furiously told me that he hadn't seen any rent from me for the last 3 years and he hung up. Now, so the viewer goes on to say, this must be a joke. I did some digging and I found out that the lawyer had not paid any of the rent we had paid to him over the last 3 years. Now, I've tried to contact him, but to no avail. I can't call the landlord either because he's upset. Now, please, what do? I don't want my family to be homeless. So, Edem, we have a family here that doesn't want to be homeless. So, what's the way out for them here, please?
Now I have this question. Did you really know that a lawyer is coming on board? Because maybe we might have hinted them.
Yes, we hinted them. Yes.
First of all, everybody. Do you understand?
Sure.
Well, I would say, okay, can you take that back? You said?
Okay, so these guys have been paying rent to a lawyer. Lawyer has not been remitting to the landlord. And now the lawyer, they can't reach the landlord.
They call the lawyer said, let's call the landlord. And now that they call the landlord is saying he has not got anything. The lawyer has switched off his...
Yeah, and police have come to ask them to leave them.
Yeah.
So, this is actually a very teachable moment because why are you paying rent to who is not your landlord?
That was exactly what
or who the landlord hasn't, put forward as having the power of attorney to receive that money. Because if that was the situation whereby the payments are being made to the lawyer and the lawyer has been presented as the person with the authority to receive that money, if the tenant can show that payments have been made validly, which means that he's on top of his rental payments, then you don't have a leg to stand on, right? But at the same time, there are many considerations, right? And I'm not sure that the legal solution would do. Because from a legal perspective, I would say that, they can't throw you out. You've been paying house rent. You can show evidence that you've been paying that house rent. And at most, even if you are being asked to leave, a notice to quit should have been issued because under tenancy law, there's a whole process for evicting tenants, right? So that's the legal solution. But at the end of the day, a landlord is dissatisfied because he's the owner of the property. He's not being paid. So that person has been paying, but hasn't, So there's
this money has not been getting, yeah.
So to be fair, I would say that this is like a practical situation, right? Not really necessarily a legal one. They need to locate that lawyer. Let's start from there.
I mean, okay. I just want to know, I wanted to, like what you said, right? In the first place, if he said he has been paying the rent to the lawyer, I'm very confused why the landlord went ahead to send did he not have conversation with his lawyer? What? Like, I don't.
Apparently, the lawyer is not. It's not reachable. Right? It's not reachable.
So
Right. So I think that on a very practical note, the tenant should actually try and resolve this issue in as amicable a manner as possible. Engage the landlord, look at the different scenarios, try and locate the lawyer. But I would say that if the landlord is adamant on everyone moving out, then you go through the normal process. So if the tenants notice, give them time to move out, find another place and all of that. But I think it's more of a practical thing than a legal thing, although there is a legal solution. But, Nigeria, it doesn't always work that way. So I would say, go and beg your landlord. Beg the guy to give you time to, regularize and then, find an alternative accommodation.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't throw you out just like that. If you can show evidence that you've been making the pay, especially if the lawyer has been held out as being the representative of the landlord. Of course, we don't have all the facts. We don't have the situation, complete context, so we can't really say. But based on what has been told, I don't think you can't take it. I'm not sure about taking your landlord to court. You can delay the process, but just trying to.
At the end of the day, my rule in the landlord's favor.
Probably is owner of the house. And even if they rule in your favor, you only have your tenancy is for a year. So why drag it out? Just have a discussion.
Right now, I'm thinking there will be a landlord somewhere listening to this and see all these people, because they are probably tenants. They are not even thinking about things from my perspective. So, I mean, for anybody to collect rent on behalf of the landlord, it means the landlord probably presented that person or, introduced that person to the tenants to collect rent. Yeah. And how come the landlord is not speaking up here 1 year, 2? And speaking of the third year, do you understand? So I think this is an issue between the landlord and his lawyer.
Be an issue,
right?
What if the landlord and the lawyer came together? Then they just scam.
Everything is happening in this country.
The popular adage, when two elephants are fighting, it's practically one that suffers. So at this point in time, and the tenant that wrote in, so we're talking to the tenant. Exactly. Just find a way.
So just go and beg. You psych out parents.
I guess that's it. Just beg.
Go and beg him.
Then the whole family.
But at the same time, if that isn't going to work, the legal solution is to challenge, being asked to leave without proper notice. Yeah.
Okay, so our second question comes from a lady. Her name is Fatima. So she said, "Hi, Fatima.
Hi, Fatima.
Thank you for sending me your question." So she said, "Hi, guys. I have a predicament. I got this beautiful house after saving up and taking out loans. Everything started off well. After a few months, I started noticing that the dimensions of the house started looking out of place. I brought it up to the landlord and he told me not to worry. One day, I took a picture in front of my flat and posted it. A friend made a comment about the house sinking. I thought he was playing till I got home and I went to check. Guys, the house is literally sinking into the ground. I can't believe it. I called the landlord in hopes to figure something out, but he has jackpot and he's not picking my calls. I don't know where to start. I need your advice." First of all, I don't even know how house can sink, but
it happens.
Like you've built, painted, tile, everything, it starts to sink.
So there's a structural deficiency.
Yeah, structural issue. Sometimes.
So that when I say I don't know how house can sink, are you saying what if that house was there 1 year, 2 years, it didn't sink?
Yeah, it happens. It doesn't. Many times it doesn't happen right after construction. Yeah.
It's used. And I think that the technical people can speak more to that, but there's supposed to be like a time frame within which, as a developer, when you now talking about people that build land and hand over to homeowners, there's supposed to be a time frame within which like any issues, especially the developer takes care of that. So that also includes like structural defects.
Okay, so in this one, I would like for us to assume that this is a regular house that was not done by a developer. Yes.
Like I was just going to say, just save yourself stress and come and buy from people that know. Like I don't understand. Well, but Fatima, we're not laughing at your situation. Let me just give you proper advice. Go ahead, please.
So I think this is first of all, let's hear from our lawyer first. We brought her here for a reason.
No, well, to be honest, like again, I'm a lawyer. To be quite honest, to be very honest.
People in consideration that the landlord has jackpot.
So, this is rent, isn't it? See, sometimes there's always, like again, I said in the first question, there's a legal solution, there's practical solution. And in deploying a legal solution, you need to look at the practicality of it, the cost, right? Because if we're looking at it from a legal perspective, in your tenancy agreement, there is a warranty on the part of the landlord to give you a house that is structurally sound, right? And, that don't have any major structural issues. And then, in the case of structural defects, the landlord is also, indemnifies you against any loss. And then you have the landlord has the responsibility of coming in and solving that issue, right? That's the legal position. So I could sit here and tell you, listen, you can write to your landlord. You have his address. You have his next of kin or whatever. Write to him. You shoot an action against him and all. You can do that, but it's not available. You paid for 1 year. My dear sister, legal fee cost. It's expensive, right? So you weigh your options.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you are able to utilize that option, you do have a legal redress, because based on your tenancy agreement, the landlord has, warranted that this house is structurally sound and is giving it to you. Same way, as a tenant, you also, you also warrant not to make any major alterations or any major changes to the house. Anything that would change the structure of the building can only make cosmetic changes. So it's a give and take situation, right? So yes, there's redress against the landlord, but if the landlord is not available and you can't find him, I don't know what you're going to do. So maybe you just start to cut your losses and then just start looking for loan. She took loan. She will pay the loan now.
In fact, the angle I'm looking at it from is the health angle, to be honest. I won't be comfortable living in a house that's, health family bending like
exactly.
My sister. Just cut your losses and
like
that.
Actually,
it's a bad debt, and sometimes it happens. So
I mean, at the end of the day, Fatima, we can just sympathize with you. Just maybe try and take our advice. We wish you the best.
We hope you find a house that will not sink.
And also, don't take loan to rent.
Yeah, very importantly, I think people should really try to stick, unless there was some situation around the time when you needed to pay rent. I don't think it's okay to always take out loans, to pay for it.
There's even there's a principle, there's a financial principle that says that, you don't take credits to solve capex issues that are not going to give you a return.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So any capital intensive venture that isn't going to give you a return, there's no ROI on that. You shouldn't take it, and you shouldn't take a financing on that.
Balance up,
So assuming now that she has taken that loan to buy mixed house, or to do rent, do you understand?
our lawyer.
Assuming she had done that now, then the repayments of the loan, they're using to service the purchase of your house, or you're paying rent to own. That would have been good, but it's a sunk cost that she's probably never going to recover. Oh, sorry,
So to add to the financial principle you shared. Some experts in the real estate space also advise that you don't spend more than 20 to 25% of your annual income on rent.
Yeah.
So that's...
But Ben, let's be real.
Rent on the island and everything, right?
It's one island, generally.
Everywhere.
It's where?
In today's Nigeria, with City Boy. How now?
Okay, so let's say we can move up that, because at the end of the day, we can't just rule it out and say, because of the state of the economy, we should just... Many people will become very financially irresponsible and not able to take care of other areas of our lives. So because of the situation we found ourselves today, we can say, okay, maybe 30%-ish.
See, I agree with it. That is as a principle that I have tried to live by. And, I would say being grateful for privilege to be able to make that decision.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, just have to be very financially responsible according to, your earning. So, you be practical.
Cut your coat according to yourself.
Right. But in a situation where you're earning what
not.
you just have to live somewhere. Is that right? So I guess this is a call to action to our government. Please, the rent is too expensive.
And
I heard the Lagos state government was even recently talking about, making a legislation that forces landlords to make rent payments monthly. I don't think a legislation enough alone can do that anyways.
Combination of legislative intervention and then financial responsibility. So it's 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 a bucket.
They will have a part to play in that. All right, so lawyer, we're not done. In case you were thinking that was the last question, we still have two more.
In the world of
All right. So I have another question. This is from Eniola. So Eniola is saying, "Hi guys, I'm furiously typing this. Really furiously. I know that there's some problem. So I got my dream apartment after months of searching. I moved in, and shortly after, the landlord is giving me a quick notice saying I need to move out or something funny. Well, as I am, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm ready to stand my ground. Do you think this is a good idea?"
so it's the same landlord you paid to that's telling you to move out.
Things are really happening.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so again, context, additional details. Why is the landlord
Asking you
to move out, right? What's the length of your tenancy? Are they giving you appropriate notice? The landlord, did you sign in your tenancy agreement? What are the terms? What's the duration? Did they give you an option to renew? There are so many things that you need to consider. So I don't think I have enough information off this just to make note. But on the back of it, the owner of the house is the owner of the house. Yeah. If the owner of the house is telling you that for XYZ reason, maybe I'm selling the property to a new owner, I need the property vacant. If they have followed all necessary requirements for eviction in terms of the notice, or also maybe offering to give you a refund for the number of months that are left on your tenancy. I don't think that you're not the owner of the house and you're like, sorry, But, again, a lot of things could be solved with a conversation. So rather than taking a combative stance, perhaps you want to engage your landlord to ask why and to ask for more. Basically just to understand better. I don't have enough details to give.
I also don't think any other give us a lot of information.
No, she's just like,
So the first three questions, now you're looking like, bad landlord, bad.
Yeah.
But we also have bad tenants. I mean, I've seen houses where people moved out from, and you're like, what happened there?
You're going far. Airbnbs, just
thank you very much.
Going just having like an Airbnb and you give it out for just 1 day, 2 days. I know sometimes some people will already put rules on the Airbnb. Don't party, don't do this, don't do that. But some crazy people will still go ahead and party, leave it scattered. So you can't always blame the landlord.
Some days ago, I saw a video on IG where two guys lodged in a hotel. They said it was 45K, and they said, they were literally turning the place upside down just because they paid 45,000.
So they say 45K is cheap.
No, like it's too. I think it's too expensive. So this one must work.
Must work to clean this apartment.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
So Eniola, we don't have as much details to provide to advise you on this. So perhaps you can write us subsequently, share more details, and our lawyer.
And one key thing our lawyers always stated is documentation, tenancy agreement. A lot of people don't read. I've gotten house. We'll take this. They sign. So it's always also best to go refer back to that. That's your saving grace,
But not just even reading it alone. So many of us, I mean, I know about this. I rent houses to people. Many people rent houses, pay legal fees, and don't even collect any document. Let's 3 of us here. Who among us has a legal document? Okay, I think I'm the one today. Okay, I mean, I was thinking about it, but I'm also guilty. But I mean, people rent houses for 8 million, 10 million per annum, and don't even ask for legal documents. As far as they pay.
So people are doing blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, so for many people, the thing for them is, once they see that, I paid to the landlord and there are no problems, nobody has going to tell me, me too, I paid for that house, nothing like that, then they are comfortable. So I think we need to, I myself, I'm
that you don't have a whole real estate thing. Big bed.
Well, building on that, it's actually very important. So, in renting your property, obviously, usually it's the landlord's lawyer that does the agreement and everything. But tenants also have to be very, very vigilant, and you also have to, if you have a lawyer friend, or engage a lawyer. If you don't, like we went to school for a reason. We spent a lot of money for the training. You can pay us, because to be very honest, there's a template, yes, but there are hidden things. So it's these hidden things that can then allow a landlord to come in and make violation. Do you understand? Because you're a tenant, you have rights. You have rights because for the period that you've paid, you're in possession, and that gives you ownership for that period. So you have rights. So, with these questions about people coming in asking you to leave and all of those things, if you have an airtight legal agreement, you can always refer to it. So please, you guys, we're talking to you when you're renting, you're buying, you make sure that you have your lawyer take a look at your agreement, even if it's 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages. When I was renting my own apartment, I remember that there was even a back and forth because I was even saying like, guy, I'm a lawyer, I can do this thing myself, and but obviously landlord to do his thing. But I know that I reviewed my agreement extensively, and I even had some pushback. And interestingly, because my apartment, the number of tenants, we all moved in at the same time, so we were all given similar documents. But mine is a bit different because I pushed back, and there were certain things that were changed.
I'm all right.
Take. No, family.
In trying to, do the right thing now, I guess what I should have done at the start of my, tenancy, and I want to know that we have viewers as well who are currently staying in houses where they have no legal agreements.
Definitely.
Now, is this something we can initiate, at any time in your tenancy?
Absolutely. Although it's probably better when you try to renew.
Okay, when you're trying to.
We are trying to renew. You can just want to regularize the agreements,
just to be sure
that we're the same. But then it will be a going forward thing. So I didn't sign an agreement when I was moving in, but we're starting a new tenancy period. Can we have an agreement to cover this new year?
So will the landlord now? I mean, would they now ask for a new payment?
No, they shouldn't, because you
already paid that earlier.
You already paid the legal fees. In fact, you can tell the landlord that, excuse me, sir, I paid you 10% for an agreement. I did not see the agreement. Hey, where is my agreement, sir? Please, can you give it to me now, but for this period? So they should not ask you for new fees. But if they're trying to be funny and they're asking for new fees, again, in the interest of moving forward, you can just, get right ahead and just get things out of just to cover.
Okay, another thing is, when you execute these agreements, they usually, in your first year, you're paying for 1 year, right? Does that agreement is it still valid by the time you're renewing for the third time?
So usually your tenancy agreement should have an option to renew.
Yeah.
So if you want to really, really be on all fours, right? If the tenancy agreement has a duration, says it's for the period of 1 year, it would probably lapse after that 1 year. So after when you renew, you should get a new one. But for ease, you can just do like an addendum. So what we call like a side letter, where you just add to the tenancy agreement to say that, okay, we're renewing on the same terms as this agreement. Do you understand? Yeah. So you that now you want to renew, probably things have even changed in terms of like the rent. I'm sure you're paying more rent, so yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So I'm going to have that discussion with my landlord when I'm renewing, and I think you should do same too.
I'll get the not covered.
Yes, if you're not.
So our last question, before we let our guests go. So it says, hello TBQH. This isn't a question, but I want to share it anyway. I am a landlord. Finally, we know a landlord. And there's this tenant that hasn't been paying rent, but lives a lavish lifestyle.
What's your...
I've tried all I can to catch him, but he always proves smart.
Catch him doing what?
The lavish lifestyle, what is funding it now?
What's your business?
So, one day I told him I saw smoke coming out of his flat. When he rushed in, I locked him in his apartment. Until he pays my money every day for the tenant, 1 day for the landlord. You see, the landlord must collect his money. The landlord bring
it's too much.
Is it cho-cho-cho?
Is the tenant's cho-cho-cho is too much?
Wow, now, okay, what if the landlord lives in the same apartment? Every day, saying the guy drives today, best to come and pick him. What if the guy does not have car?
Have you not seen Nigerian memes that when somebody's owing me money, you not see the person posting on or say, bro, good money. What's good about the money? You owe somebody money, you are doing lifestyle.
You're living lavish.
Now, wow, we advise our landlord now. Should he open the first tenants to pay?
So the landlord has now gone over the realm of, a consent to now
By force.
a threat to the person, and the guy could always, if the guy wants to be difficult now, he can go and arrest the landlord, fundamental human rights, threat to freedom.
You're owing me money and you still want to arrest?
Yes, you're owing me money. Does not mean that you will lock me in my house. Please, everybody has right. I have right to owe you money too. Do you understand? Same there's breach of, no, for real now. So if this one now is breach of contract, we've contracted that you're going to pay me a particular amount of money for, your tenancy. You reach that contract. There are options for redress under that contract. So utilize those options, right? If the person is owing you and you don't want to pay, serve him quick notice now. Let him get out of your house. You are locking him inside the house, and then you are now using you need to be looking at the man having a good time. Do you know whether he's funding all that thing by himself? Do you know whether
now what if the landlord is doing in the house? Baby Ben is coming to begin to the Range Rover tomorrow.
You know that in this Lagos now, the way we're hearing things that there are some. Do you know who is funding this man's lifestyle? You don't know. So utilize the options for redress under your contract. Breach of contract. You've not paid your then
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think the landlord is resorting to,
His last option.
subtly violent.
This is not possible again. No, this one
Because violent. He went on.
it's fully violent.
Well, maybe what
So that guy can die in the house. What if he doesn't have food stuff in the house? He can die there.
His life. He has threatened his life. See, if I'm that, I cannot be that guy, Sha, because I used to get my.
Of course.
Or just in case I'm that guy, I will so aggravate the whole thing that, threat to my life. Do you know what? I had a medical condition while I was in the house. I'm claustrophobic. I'm this one, I'm that one.
It was me.
I'm
telling you, that will look like.
And then I'm telling you, if you don't want to pay me damages for locking me in the
I'm telling you, that rent, you pay me the rent. But
our landlord, we know we sympathize.
we really do.
Sorry, it's very painful.
Yeah.
We get, but that's not the way to go about it.
Yeah, like our lawyer said, there are legal options are available to you. Please take advantage of them and legally evict.
If legal does not work, Olokwa,
Yes.
come and arrest your friend.
Police is your friend, though.
It's okay.
Because
Police will be your friend, but not be a friend to the tenant.
yes.
You locking him in his apartment, anything
so much.
anything.
Yeah.
And you've
think
taken on that risk.
Yeah, I think the landlord is giving away some of his powers doing that. So
At the end of the day, right, I just feel like the landlord is frustrated and we understand, but listen to our, legal practitioner
Thank you.
that says just go the legal way and you get your money out.
Well,
By God's grace.
I did not say you get to
By God's grace. We are saying that it's at least the conversations.
Still, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, like looking at all of the things that were sent in, I think if we all just treat ourselves in a way that we would like for other people to treat have this problem.
Very simple.
The guy who's a tenant today would one day become a real estate investor, have his own house,
Exactly.
and they would want for people to pay him promptly.
Exactly.
So and it's also very painful when you see someone who should pay you 1 million naira buying a new car that's like maybe 8 million naira or 7 million. Or going to the club and posting on phone and everything.
You might not have your landlord on WhatsApp. You're not.
Yeah.
Oh, everything you do.
WhatsApp is even small. Imagine now your landlord on Snap and that's with
Why do you have your landlord on Snapchat?
That's some landlord that are that.
some guy landlords now.
Yeah.
I didn't. There are some people now that there are some celebrities.
So actually, let's talk on that. Would you actually think? Would you actually advise for landlord and tenants to have like a relationship? Because I feel like that's where you need to draw the line sometimes. Because when you're too like with your landlord, when it's asking for money, if you're not taking it serious, but when you're your landlord, you go out to drink. Or like I just feel like there should be like
Some boundary.
boundaries.
So that's why I don't really like, and I think many other people agree with this. I don't really like houses where the landlord stays late.
Absolutely.
So that way, there's really no. You guys are too close.
Yes.
Yeah. Let landlord just stay somewhere else.
My
Let me
God.
do my thing. Send him my rent.
Yeah, too close.
No, you're right. Because really, it's easier to default when landlord and my guy.
Yeah, and then sometimes the landlord then feels like they are doing you a favor, say, I'm not really charging you. What I would charge. You know, those type of conversations, not because I'm talking out of experience, because our last place we're leaving, there was a relationship, and I always used to try and cut it like, why you friends with your landlord? You go into his house to come out, and you go to his house. Like, I always try to cut it. So when we moved to this our new house, I just like the fact that landlord, we don't talk to the landlord, we talk to the lawyer. Let everybody know where they are. Not the one that's to.
I don't know why you were talking to a lawyer.
They don't not pay. We are not paying to lawyer. We are not paying to lawyers. So the landlord is on the group chat. There's a group chat. The landlord
I'll read out your question.
The podcast will not like it.
No, our landlord is on the group chat, but nobody has like direct access to him. And I just feel like it's best like that, so that everybody knows where to draw the line. Do you understand? Because when you are too friendly, I feel like there's a problem.
I think it really depends. There are circumstances. So now, for instance, I would assume that the house you're referring to is the house my previous house, and then your husband was a bachelor at that time. You understand? So there are relationships that can develop over time.
Yeah.
Right. It's just important that no matter how your relationship develops, there's still certain level. There's like understanding, there's respect. And there's that boundary. But I don't have a problem with my landlord. Well, my landlord now, because I've gone through some landlords. But my current landlord, I don't have a problem with him being able to access me directly because he's a respectful human being, right? And he knows that I pay my rent on time. So there's that respect, right? So it's good. But I understand, I agree with what you're saying.
The landlord, it's not like the landlord was so the viewers, not like the landlord was a bad guy. I just found it too comfortable. Like, we know he used to come to our house. We have like host him and all of those things, but I just still found it too friendly. Like, I mean,
but what if they had actually developed it?
They had. That's how we started living there. It was from like one of his egg-borns that had a house, all those type of things. Do you understand? But when I now came into the picture, no, this is a bit too much.
I can already imagine you as a landlady. Agent, please go and tell them XYZ. I don't. Anybody call me, let them talk to you.
Let me quickly share my experience because I've had terrible experiences with landlords.
Wow, how is you asking us your own question?
Let me comment. Let me comment because I've had terrible experiences. I'm sure anyone listening to this can relate as a young single lady living in Lagos. It's extremely difficult, right? So I rented an apartment a couple of years ago before where I live now. And at the time, there were red flags because when I had the interview with the landlord, I should have known that this was going to be a proper Higgy Haga situation. But I really loved the environment. I'm like
the house was just speaking to you.
Not even the house, but the environment was absolutely serene. Very nice. It was very nice. And I was coming. Then I was coming from the church. Sorry from Shomolu. So sorry. Shout out to Shomolu people.
Where's the place?
So this was going to Surulere, but like the really elite area of Surulere. So really nice and I really wanted to stay there. So at the time of having the conversations with the landlord, he kept saying things like, you must be the only person in the house. The house, I'm renting it to you alone. I don't see any other person and everything. Okay, obviously. And I said it up front that you can't expect that. I'm not going to have guests. I'm not going to have friends or family. I can assure you that I'm the one renting and it's going to be my house. It's not a house with any other person. I'm not going to have a roommate or a housemate. But you can't. Sometimes when I have people, brother and sister and viewers, my dear brother and sister, I moved in, and like a week. Okay, I moved in and I traveled, and I came back. And as I came back, obviously, I was moving into a house, so my friends came over, to help me move in. Blah blah blah, yada 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 yada. So, and I had like a friend or two who, stayed over. My dear brother, my dear sister. Oh God! By the next day, my landlord accosted me in front of my house. I said that I'm not going to have a roommate or a housemate. Why are people sleeping in my house? This was my first night.
That means the landlord was living in single.
Yes, but the way the house was set up, all these older Surulere houses. So there was a main house and there was a chalet. There was a chalet that had not been renovated into a one-bedroom apartment. So it was away, but same big compound. I said the day I moved in, the next night morning, landlord accosted me, accosted my friend. That's when I just knew that problem. I didn't spend my complete 1 year in that house. It was terrible. So
It is all like me,
you know,
who's that crying? So just
I paid for your house rent because even at the time my house rent was above my budget. But because I liked my house, I was like, okay, let me just
money.
bro. I tried. There's nothing I didn't hear.
And it's just so
I was locked out of my house.
What?
Yeah, he would lock the gates. Literally, he would lock the gate of the house.
So it's like going out on there. Imagine going out, having fun with your friends, go far from the club.
And you know what? And that was a couple of years ago when I was still in my, So, guy, I'll come back around to 12. They've locked gate. I will not be calling the landlord. No, I'm not saying, why you come back at this time? I said, are you my father? What's going on?
I'm very sure I was not calling Daddy, please. Daddy, please.
Daddy, open the gate for me, please. I had to become really friendly because there was another tenant in the main house. So I had to become really friendly with that tenant. So when he locked me out, I would call the guy.
That's your. See, as in, that's the only thing you can do.
Like I left probably 5 or 6 months on that tenant, on like running, because I was like, you know what, take your house. Maybe you want to die, I couldn't deal. So ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, viewers, please open your eyes. When you want to rent.
When there are red flags, see it as red. Don't see it as yellow.
Or say, let me paint my nails to match.
Yeah, I think professionally in these days, people are now moving away from houses where the landlord lives in.
Yeah.
Because there are one too many stories like this. Most everybody has knows someone who had to deal with, this kind of landlord issues. But at the end of the day, the landlord who doesn't have another place somewhere else
has to live in his house.
Has to live in his house, so.
No, so that's why we tell you, buy from companies, mixed African.
Or come and rent to own.
We don't have land.
We have property that they are renting to own. Once you start paying your house rent, not from reputable like this, you are paying towards ownership. Please. In fact, we should have brought our project manager here so that she will just plug it in. Please, you guys should bring her in
next time. We need more questions. Then need more questions so that we can add. But Edem, it was so nice having you. It was such a lovely episode.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You brought the spice, the everything.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much for this episode. Thank you so much to our viewers. We trust that you've learned a thing or two. So everyone who sent in questions, thank you so much. If you have questions, please.
We actually also hope we're able to, give some insight, educate you a bit on what to do. We sympathize with you, but just take a bit from what we've said, and going forward, we hope you have a more easier rent-free.
I'll call your lawyer.
Speak with your lawyer.
Please, okay, I'm sorry. I just remember that I'm no more in practice. I wanted to plug you can call me. Let me help you. I just remember. Sorry, I'm working for Mixed-Style.
We expect more questions from you. Please follow us on our social media at To Be Quite Honest Pod on Instagram and send us your questions there. Until next time, I remain your ever beautiful Norma and
Big Ben. Till next week.
Signing out. Bye.